Hello. So I thought I'd try making a Game Week 9 video. I didn't make a video last game week, partly because I did really badly. I did a bench boost, got about 6 points, managed to get a red arrow on a bench boost. Semenyo smashed me, so that wasn't great. But also, I'm not sure I'm going to keep making videos every game week. I've got other things I really ought to be doing, and FPL is always like a procrastination thing for me. And so I think I'm just going to make videos when I feel like it. But I may not make them every week. I'm just going to make them when I feel like it. And I'm procrastinating again this week, so I thought I'll make a video now. I've just been thinking about my team, what to do, had some thoughts. So last game week I did well, which is probably why I want to make a video this game week. But 84 points, that was good. Points all round. It was a weird game week where almost everybody seemed to chip in. I don't know what to read from that. Maybe the DEFCON thing is working. I do still feel quite happy with my structure. These two little 5mm DMs, and the way it kind of forces me to play more at the back. And Xhaka coming in when I need him for a 5-pointer. It's very nice. Yeah, not much to say about that. I just did well. Feels good. Lucky week. Yep, that's all good. Next game week though, plans for the future, what to do. Here's my team. I feel quite set because since the wild card, I came across this structure that I really liked, where I had like 5 big attackers. So I've got Bruno, Semenyo, Saka at the moment, and then Haaland and Gyökeres, the big 5. And then the other 2 I just put as Ghana and Xhaka, like 2 5mm DMs. I've just downgraded Richarlison to a dead spot here, Mark U. He'll be a dead spot third on the bench. And then I wanted to go big at the back. And my team is just filled with nailed centre-backs, DMs. You got Haaland, Bruno, Semenyo, Saka. All these players are all nailed, so there's not much I need to do. They're all the kind of players that just tick along. I don't need to do much, so I feel quite settled. But one of the big questions I've been asking this game week is, what should be my free transfer threshold? Like, how trigger happy should I be with the free transfers? Because I've got 1 free transfer this game week and 1.8 mil in the bank, and we've got to use them all by game week 15, right? Use them or lose them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 7 transfers to use in 7 game weeks, and I have to use them or I lose them, and then we get 5 more in 16. And I've heard some people with, they've got like 3, 4, 5 transfers rolled up, so they've got, potentially 10, 11, 12 transfers to use by 15, or a lot more. That's quite a lot of transfers, and which means, you can probably find a way to use them. You could do a little mini free hit if you wanted. If you had that many transfers, bring a load of players in, then bring them straight back out again. You might lose team value doing that, but I'm just trying to think, how trigger happy should I be with my transfers? Because here's my team for this game week, and the team, a lot of the team picks itself. Like the big 5 are going to play every game. So like in attack, so Bruno, Semenyo, Saka, Gyökeres, Haaland, all on, they're locked. And then most of my defence is locked. Tarkowski against Tottenham is fine. Tottenham aren't quite as attacking as they used to be. Gabriel, obviously, I'm going to play. Senesi and Petrovic against Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche, it's a great fixture. That feels good. So they're all starting. So that's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. So I've got 2 more spots. And Mark U will usually be third on my bench. There is actually an option. He may start in the next game, so that's an option I need to keep an eye on. But this is going to happen most game weeks, where basically my 10th and 11th spot may very well. I'm going to have these little debates between these 4. So Alderete, Ghana, Xhaka, and Richards. It's like my 4th and 5th defender, and my 6th and 7th attackers. And I'm always going to have these kind of little debates about them, which ones to play, which ones not to. Most of the time, I wanted to try and play 5 at the back if I could. but there was a few exceptions where I kind of thought, well, Man City and Arsenal, maybe Chelsea, games where you're unlikely to get a clean sheet and unlikely to get DEFCONs, then maybe I'll bench them for that. But it's not quite as simple as that. So I'm trying to do some maths with these four. At the moment, that's where I've settled, I think. Xhaka and Richards on the bench. So yeah, I've got those four. But I'm also kind of thinking with the transfers, like I'm looking at them, if I'm going to play Alderete against Chelsea away, could I do a defensive transfer? Or is there a transfer somewhere that I could do, even though it's like I don't have to do it? Like last season, I probably wouldn't have done anything here. You could roll 5 transfers. I only ever use a transfer for a luxury transfer, for an urgent transfer, red flag kind of transfer, something important. Luxury transfers I barely ever did. Whereas this season, I feel like maybe I could and should. I've got 7 free transfers and 7 game weeks to use them. And I was kind of looking ahead, trying to figure out, well, are there any players in the next 7 game weeks that I'm definitely going to want to bring in at some point? Are the big transfers? And at the moment, again, I feel really settled. Like I don't think necessarily. One of the big things that a lot of people have pointed out is Liverpool's fixtures, particularly game week 12 onwards. You could bring them in now, but then you'd have to get through Aston Villa and then Man City. So I think some people are looking at 12. That seems like a better jumping on point. Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds onwards. Liverpool are good, but then who do you get from Liverpool? Which I'm sure everybody's already thought about this, but like Salah, I'm not really tempted by Salah at all. Not worried about him. I mean, maybe, who knows, but I'm not on Salah at the moment. Gakpo, maybe. Gakpo has started every game, I think, and his numbers are pretty good, I believe. 9 till 14. Gakpo's probably so he's quite high on my model. That 76% chance is just because likelihood to start is because it's got a bit of last season's data on it. He didn't start necessarily every game last season, so there's still a bit of worry about whether he's going to start every game. But if you do think he's going to start every game, he's a bit higher. And he doesn't get any DEFCON, but he's 0.79 XGI for the season. In the last 6 game weeks, 0.71 for the season. That's pretty good. That's really good. So if he's going to start every game, he could be interesting. I've only got really one slight worry with him, which is that is he definitely going to start every game? Because they've got a lot of players in their team and they might experiment. He might not start 1 or 2. Wouldn't surprise me if he didn't start every game. But anyway, players like Gakpo are interesting, but I've only got my structure. I've only got 3 spots for midfield to really play with. So unless I want to change that structure and then start playing, I've either got to sell one of these 3 for Gakpo, or I start playing 3 at the back instead of 4 at the back, or 4 at the back instead of 5. I'm not sure I want to do that. So at the moment, for me, the only Liverpool player I'm thinking of getting is like Van Dijk. I've got my eyes on Van Dijk, I think. Maybe another defender, but I don't know who else is nailed. Konate maybe, but I don't think he's really doing the DEFCONs much. Van Dijk, I think, is the only one who really appears anywhere near highly. He's up there. He's really high. 63% chance of DEFCONs I've got him as, which is my own calculation, but that's really good. Really good. He's the one. So that's one possible transfer I could book in. Liverpool, game week 12. I'm kind of looking at Sunderland as well. Like, originally when I looked at Sunderland, I thought they might do I thought they could do quite well for a little. I think I was thinking of keeping them up until maybe 13, 12 or something, because some of these teams like Chelsea play in Europe. They've just played in Europe this week, and I thought Sunderland might be able to surprise them or something. But now that I'm facing it, I'm not so confident. But then Everton's not a bad fixture at home. But then here, Arsenal, then Bournemouth, Liverpool, City, Newcastle there. It could be a good jumping off point for the defenders, for Alderete. Maybe I could ditch him. Probably wouldn't get rid of Xhaka because it doesn't really make a difference when you just want your DEFCONs. But defence without the clean sheets. So he could go. But I don't know. Everton maybe later. Maybe when Everton start reaching 12. Got Man United. I mean, I haven't fully thought this all out yet. But at the moment, I still kind of like Tarkowski. Gabriel will be just there for the season, I think. Petrovic is he's got that Man City game, but after that, Bournemouth's fixtures get pretty good from 12 onwards as well. So I think I just stick with Bournemouth for now. They're all good. Yeah, so I don't feel like there's any major transfers I've got booked in. I've heard some people saying they want to book like 2 or 3, maybe 4 transfers for game week 12 and 13. But I don't see who you're bringing in for. For me, it's just Van Dijk, maybe. I don't imagine I'm going to do much surgery there. Man City, who else are you going to bring in? Haaland, I've already got. I don't really trust anybody else in the team. Maybe some one-week punts. There's also a possibility that I could free hit in 13. We've got the the EFL Crystal Palace versus Liverpool game next game week, midweek, next Wednesday or Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. And the result of that, if Crystal Palace win, then we may still get a blank in game week 17, and so I'll probably save the free hit for then, depending on what kind of blank we get. But if Liverpool win, then I'm going to have to find another game week to free hit, and I think it will. Well, one of it is 13. I haven't had a deep look, but 13, 15 and 19 kind of stood out to me as decent game weeks. 13, 15 and 19. 19 could be risky because it's like that's 18 is like Boxing Day, and then 19 is like just before New Year's Day. There's only like 2 days rest between, or 3 days rest between 18 and 19 for all the teams, I think. It looks quite tight. You could be rotation. I don't know whether that's a reason to use a free hit or not to use a free hit, because it just depends how predictable we'll be able to predict who's going to start and who's not going to start. But 19 maybe. 13 and 15. One of the good things about 13 for free hit is you get Man City. You might get some Man City leaks. I think 13 they're on the 3 o'clock kickoff, but there's no 12:30 kickoff. So free hitting there, you could actually get your triple City for that game, potentially, if you know who's going to start. And Liverpool got West Ham, so you could just have a punt. We might know more about who's playing, because we'll have the Europe in midweek of game week 12, so you might get some clues of who's going to start for 13 as well by that point. So 13 feels like a good free hit week if Liverpool beat Palace in the EFL Cup. Otherwise, I'll wait and see if we get a blank. And again, I'll also have to use triple captain around it as well, but I think triple captain I'll just wait for one of these, wait towards the end and just use it anywhere. So maybe game week 13, if I'm free hitting there, then I've only got 6 free transfers to use in 6 game weeks instead of 7 in 7. Normally I would reserve every other game week for a potential red flag. So one of every 2 transfers I'd reserve for potential red flags, because that's what you normally get, I think. But because my team this season is built out of just nailed centre-backs, nailed DMs, pretty solid players, I feel like the likelihood that they're going to get injured is a little less, maybe, than most seasons. Because, the fullbacks and the wingers and the explosive players, this is just me theorising, but maybe they're the ones that just get injured more because they're more explosive, running faster. I don't know. Just a hunch. So if I had 7 free transfers in 7 game weeks, if I reserve 3 for red flags, I've got no red flags at the moment, but if I imagine that there's going to be 3 for those, but then even when they get the red flag, you can just gives you an excuse to move a player to somebody else anyway. It's not really that big a deal. But that would give me 4 just luxury transfers, you could say. And so basically I'm thinking, well, but what should I do then? Should I use a transfer this game week, or should I just stick? And the player I'm most looking at, I think, is Alderete. Maybe Richards. Just because Alderete, I can see me potentially moving off Sunderland here anyway, especially for this little run. Bournemouth, Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle, was Arsenal there as well. It might be a good time to come off Alderete. So who could I replace him with? And I'll come on to that. I just want to talk about quickly the why I've got it set up. Garner ahead of Xhaka. I've got Garner ahead of Xhaka because he's playing Tottenham, Xhaka's playing Chelsea, and the DEFCON so far for DMs looks like this. Let's go like that. Tottenham are top. So this is DMs who play Tottenham are getting the most amount of DEFCONs so far, according to my data, where Tottenham are down here somewhere. Let's have a look. Tottenham DMs. These are the DMs that have played Tottenham so far in the first 8 game weeks. So Cullen got 12. This is defensive contributions per 90. So some of them didn't play the full 90, but they were on track to get this. So 12, 12, 18, 14, 14, 10, 15, 11. Loads of DEFCONs. Loads of DEFCONs. So Tottenham are top, whereas Chelsea are kind of at the bottom there. So Garner looks like he's got a very good chance of DEFCONs. And then he's at home against Tottenham, and he's got a little bit of XG about him, like 0.2-ish. So I think he's better than Xhaka. Xhaka may not get DEFCONs against Chelsea because they just because Chelsea, I think, they're quite low. Then they're not really giving up many DEFCONs. So that's the calculation there. And then Richards, Arsenal are actually, when it comes to the centre backs, Arsenal are giving up a lot of DEFCONs, I think. Like I originally thought they wouldn't. But they have been this season, I think. So they're 5th top at the moment. So centre-backs who play Arsenal are actually having quite a lot of DEFCONs. So there's every chance that Richards will get DEFCONs. But I feel like the chances of them, Richards, the chances of Arsenal scoring is very high, I think. Especially as Palace will be playing Thursday. And Arsenal play Tuesday. They've got a couple of days extra rest. It's at home for Arsenal, and I've got Saka and Gyökeres, so I'm kind of like, I don't really want to play Richards for that. So I feel like Richards is like nailed as a 3-point max or something like that. Maybe a 4-pointer, but probably 3 points. Whereas Alderete, I can kind of see him potentially getting a clean sheet, like because Chelsea played in Europe and Sunderland didn't. Sunderland they've been surprising people. This is one of their first big tests of the season. They may surprise people again. That was my hunch that they might. So he's got at least got a chance of a clean sheet, and I think he's got a 50-50 chance of DEFCONs. Chelsea are still kind of low for the DEFCONs. They did the same thing last season as well. They're kind of low for DEFCONs. I don't know why. Even though they're an attacking team, they don't. Their opponents don't get many DEFCONs from them. But Alderete is quite high for DEFCONs, so it probably evens out at about a 50-50 chance. But Alderete's also got a chance of a clean sheet, maybe. But I don't love Alderete. He just bumps him ahead of Richards. And again, like with Garner's chance of a clean sheet of DEFCONs, it's high, but it's not that high because Garner is, let's see, where is he? Garner. Well, he's got a 50-50 chance, and then he's playing Tottenham, so he's probably got a more than 50-50 chance. And where's Alderete? Alderete's got a 50-50 chance. It's probably slightly less than 50-50 chance. But he's got the clean sheet chance as well. Those two are kind of even. I'm talking up my bum. Alderete, but I'm comparing him to Xhaka though. That's the thing, isn't it? So it's Alderete versus Xhaka. And Alderete and Xhaka have probably got a similar chance of DEFCONs. Alderete's probably got slightly more chance of DEFCONs. And he's got the clean sheet chance as well. I don't know. It's all very close between these four. And this is where all my thinking goes every game week, and probably will do every game week between these four. So I may sell Alderete. Other options, I've got 1.8 in the bank. I could upgrade Mark Gu to somebody else, or I could even play Gu if I think he's going to start. I could just play him. But it's... I'm always kind of trying to retrain my brain to kind of force myself to play more at the back. I hear a lot of people talking about DEFCONs all the time and how it's changing the game and stuff, but then nobody's actually playing 4 or 5 at the back very often, and it's almost like our brains are wired from past seasons. We're stuck in that way of thinking, and it's like if you keep putting money in midfield and forwards, then when it comes down to your team selection, you're gonna just play the forwards above your defenders because that's where your money is. And it's almost like you've got to put your money where your mouth is, which is to say you've got to put your money in defence to kind of force you to play more at the back if that's where you think the points are going to be. I'm trying to kind of retrain my brain because my instinct is always to just go after these attacking players. But I think the defenders are the ones who are more likely to get... They've got more routes to points this season, I think. And this season, it's still... The XG this season is still pretty low. Where's the data? Pardon me. XG so far this season, 1.3. That's quite low. It's normally the average is about 1.45-ish, 1.4 to 1.5. So the overall XG this season still seems quite low. So I think still feels like there's maybe something happening in the Premier League where maybe teams are playing more defensive. Maybe there's not as many goals. Not sure. And like if you look at the form chart here, this is the last 6 game weeks. Burnley are crap. They're over 2.1. But most seasons, I feel as though my memory from last seasons, it was a lot more bunched at the bottom here. You had maybe 2 or 3 teams over 2, and there was a bunch more down here. Whereas really, like 1.38 last season would have been above average. So all of that, from Crystal Palace up, they're all above average. And, you know, Man United and West Ham on those 2 is not absolutely terrible last season. That wouldn't have been seen as terrible. So it's almost like everybody's good at defence now this season. They're all pretty good, apart from Forest and then Chelsea, surprisingly, down the bottom there, last 6 game weeks. They've been awful for the last 4, particularly against Man United, Brighton, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. They're averaging over 2 XGA per 90 against them. So Chelsea... Yeah, because Chelsea were one of the teams I was thinking maybe I could get a Chelsea player, Reece James, Cucurella, somebody, but they're actually not that good defensively. So yeah, options. I could go for like an upgrade again, one of these Garner or Xhaka, upgrade one of them to like a Sarr, but again, I'm trying not to change my structure. I'm almost trying to force myself to play 5 at the back, and I like this structure. So I'm more inclined, if I'm going to do anything, it might be Alderete to somebody else. So if I think of like who's the best defender to go to, well, according to my model, for the next 6 game weeks, 9 to 14, Gabriel's the best defender. Mukiele is the second best, according to my model, which really annoys me because he's like he's a Sunderland player. I want to get off Sunderland, and I don't actually fully understand why he's so high. I've been looking at his numbers a little bit today and feeling like there must be a mistake, but I can't find the mistake. Other than possibly you could argue that because Sunderland have had a relatively easy start, maybe that's why his numbers are relatively bumped. This is based on XG data though, so this is not based on his points, and it's not based on his clean sheets that he's actually got. This is just based on the team's XGC data as a whole and his XG numbers, which are not that high, and yet he's still up here. And I think the main reason he's so high is because he's on a 78% chance, I've got him as, of getting DEFCONs in any given game week. Really, really high. DEFCONs, these are the leaders at the moment. And yeah, he seems to be really high. He seems to be getting a lot of DEFCONs. Only Senesi is higher by my calculation at least. So I think that's why he's really high, and I think that those DEFCONs, they affect the model because they're just so consistent. Just when you're getting that many, he's getting like 78% of 2 points every game week added to his score every game week, and it's just bumps his numbers so high. So, but I'm not going to Mukiele, I don't think, because partly I'm still kind of worried that is he actually going to play centre back every game week, or because he played right back last game week. And what was the reasoning? I could probably do with looking into the reasoning behind that. And is that going to be a frequent, regular thing? Is Ballard back in centre back? And he still managed to get DEFCONs, even at right back, and a goal. He got 17-pointer, obviously. But I would imagine if he's playing right back more regularly, he won't get the DEFCONs as regularly. It will go down, I would have thought. So I'm a bit, dubious of Mukiele. But he is up there because he does the DEFCONs. Next defender is Munoz. But I don't think I fancy that. I mean, I wouldn't want to bring him in this game week. I could, but I don't really want to. After that, Brentford, Brighton, Wolves. Man United is tricky for clean sheets, and Burnley, Fulham. He's got all right fixtures. Palace, I still feel like I'm waiting for them to suffer from playing in Europe. I still feel like I'm waiting for it. Even somebody like Munoz, who's just a minutes monster. I don't know if we've seen him playing 2 games a week. I don't think Crystal Palace were in Europe last season or the season before or something like that. I seem to remember looking into his numbers. So even though we think he's a minutes monster, I still feel like somebody like him who runs so much, he may need a rest every now and then. He may get some early subs. But I mean, he's good. Like, his DEFCON rate is actually pretty good. I mean, I've been looking at other players like Dan Burn and stuff. His DEFCON rate is actually as good as Dan Burn's. And he's got this monstrous XGI of 0.45. And he's Palace. I mean, he's great. He is great, actually. Maybe I should think about him. But maybe not this game week. Maybe this game week. Don't know. Munoz is very good, though. I don't think I've got triple Palace, have I? I've only got 1. So maybe Munoz. Timber. Yeah, I was a little unsure about going for Munoz because he's just a fullback. I wanted to go for these nailed centre-backs, but I guess he is good. Timber, I've got triple Arsenal, but he's next. Senesi I've already got. Van Dijk is up there. He's got a good fixture now, Brentford. Then Aston Villa. Man City's the tricky one. So you could go Van Dijk now if you want him, but I can't afford Van Dijk. I can't afford him from Alderete. I could from Richards, but don't think I want to do that. Mark Gay. If I'm going to go for another Palace, I'd go for Munoz. Keane. Everton actually look alright. Next 3 fixtures, Tottenham, Sunderland, Fulham. For the next 3 is alright. Man United have got a good attack, so that's not so great. But Tottenham, Sunderland, Fulham, 3 teams that are not cooking up much XG. Sunderland, Tottenham, Fulham. Tottenham are second bottom for XG in the last 6 game weeks. Sunderland pretty low and Fulham are pretty low. So they're good fixtures for Everton. Everton's defence is, where are they? Middling. 1.25, it's fine. For the season, 1.49. But last season they were 1.22. They're doing fine. They've got an okay defence. It's nothing amazing, but it's good. It's just solid. And Tarkowski gets DEFCONs in loads of games. So, yeah. Tarkowski's good. Do I want to double up with Keane? I don't think I do. I don't think I want to do the double up. Keane's on a 50% chance of DEFCONs, which is good. I do love these players who are like in the 60s and up. So Senesi and Tarkowski. Mukiele, but do I trust that's going to continue? Richards is one. Acquire, but then that's kind of it. Anderson's out. So that is kind of the best you're going to get. Ballard, but he's another Sunderland one. Agbadu's lost his place. So that's about it. I mean, who else is there on this list? There's a couple of Wolves players. I don't know who that guy even is. Jair Paula Ducunha Filho. I don't even know who that is. Agbadu, I think, has lost his place. But this chap, Santiago Bueno, I believe has started the last 3 or 4 for Wolves, and their defensive numbers. One thing I found interesting was that in the last 6 game weeks, Wolves are 4th best, and Leeds are 3rd best for the last 6 game weeks. And their Leeds are doing really well for the whole season so far as well. Played some pretty good teams in there. Newcastle and Bournemouth and Tottenham, maybe. And Wolves in the last 6, they played Newcastle as well and played all these teams. And they're 4th best for XGC conceded. And Santiago Bueno scored a goal, I think, the other day, and he's got like he's on my list somewhere. Where is he? Not gonna be able to find him now. I'm sure he was up here somewhere. Let's see if I can find him quick. Bueno. There he is there. So I've still got him rated as 50% chance of starting. But if he does start, he's got a 50% chance of DEFCONs, 33 points. Where is that as well? 0.23 XGI, which is pretty good. It may have been because he hadn't played that many games and he got that header. He scored a goal. I don't know if it was a header. But he scored a goal, so maybe his numbers are skewed. But he looks interesting. He'd be quite high up here if he's going to start. He'd be right at the top here. And because he's playing Burnley in the next game. But it's Wolves, innit? It's Wolves, and that just feels... I did like the idea of it, but I think that's like my contrarian hipster side of me wanting to be kind of a smart ass and get a Santiago Bueno in. But I'd probably only play him for... I'd like to play him for that Burnley game. I might get him in if I was free hitting, but then after that, Fulham away's all right, but it's still Wolves. And then I'm gonna want to get rid of him. But this comes back to this idea of how trigger happy do I want to be with the transfers. Maybe that's all right. Maybe I just do a transfer, especially if I'm thinking of bringing Van Dijk in. Maybe all I need is somebody just a little punt for a couple of game weeks before I bring Van Dijk in 12. And I don't have the money to do Alderete to Van Dijk. Pardon me. I don't have the money to do Alderete to Van Dijk, so I'm going to have to get the money somewhere. And I don't know where I'd get it from. I either do Richards to Van Dijk instead. Maybe Alderete to Rodon. That could work. Or I'm going to have to sell probably one of these 5 attackers. It's not going to be Haaland. Maybe Gyökeres, if he doesn't perform in the next 3 or 4-ish, he may go down to somebody. So, there's 2 or 3 transfers there if I want to get Van Dijk in. Yeah, but Alderete could just go to somebody short term. Could go to Bueno. What's the time? Oh, I've got to go in a minute. Could go to Bueno. There's Chelsea defenders, but Chelsea haven't actually been that good defensively this season. So even though the fixtures are good, their defence is kind of crap. If I look at it like this is a 9-14, let's say. This is a measure of the XG of the opponents per 90 and the XGC of this team here, and it's like an average with home and away advantage. So it actually comes out Chelsea are kind of not that great. If you want to bring a defender in now, even though Chelsea's fixtures look good, they're kind of crap defensively. So you're probably better off to bring in either an Arsenal or a Newcastle. Would be better off Fulham, West Ham, Brentford. And if you're going to bring a Newcastle one, I think it's just Dan Burn. Because Dan Burn's the only one that plays every game, I think. I haven't looked that much into Newcastle, so there might be other players who play. What's this? I don't know if this works properly, but this is my minutes tracker from last season. Dan Burn looks like he's played 90 every game. Livramento was playing 90, then what's happened? Has he been injured? I need to double check all this. Trippier didn't start a couple there. Maybe started again. Not sure what's happening with him. Botman started the last 4. Botman could be interesting. Thior started as well. So I need to have a look. I need to look into it. Shah was starting. Now he doesn't. So I don't know what's going on with their defence anymore. Where's Lewis Hall as well? He's not really playing much. Don't know. Maybe Botman, but I don't think any of them have particularly good DEFCON rates either. Dan Burns there, 36 is like 36% chance is fine, but it's like it's not that good. And I kind of feel like a player like Mukiele or one of these Sunderland boys will actually do better points wise, even though less chance of clean sheets, just higher chance of DEFCONs. That'll probably win out in the end, I think. Rodon's only 35% as well. So this kind of thing makes me think, well, maybe I'll just stick with Alderete then. Maybe I'll just stick with Alderete. Not sure. Anyway, so that's my thinking. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet, transfer-wise. Might do a defensive transfer. Could have a punt. Reece James, Santiago Bueno for a couple, and then bring Van Dijk in later. See if I can free up some money. But yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see if there's anything else interesting to share. I think I've kind of shared everything. I mean, some people might be looking at forwards. Haaland, Bruno, Mateta. Obviously, all his numbers are going to be skewed now, but he was on about 0.63-ish numbers, I think, if you take off what happened this game week. So he did still have good numbers. So Mateta's interesting. It's not really the game week to bring him in. And in my structure, I've only really got 2 forwards, and one of them's Haaland. So it would be Gyökeres to Mateta if I wanted to do it. I'm happy with Gyökeres at the moment, but yeah, Mateta's good. Yeah, just depends if they'll get tired from Europe, but maybe they won't. Salah's up there, actually. I've been kind of... This has only got 20% of last season's data now, 80% of this season. 0.54. But he is still up there. Interestingly. No DEFCON chance. That's almost surprising, actually, to me, that he's actually still so high up there, only on 0.5-ish numbers. Maybe it's because the 20% of last season's data is still bumping him up a bit high because he had such good numbers last season, possibly. Bomo looks good. I had him Bomo. Probably shouldn't have sold him. I sold him for Saka last game week, and he actually outscored Saka anyway. But yeah, and Bomo's good. I did wonder about keeping him Bomo because he doesn't have Europe, and he's going to play 90 minutes, whereas Saka might not play the full 90s. I mean, at the moment, Saka's averaging 78 minutes per 90. And then Bomo is... Well, he's on 86, but he's probably going to be 90. I think that the game when he got subbed was a bit of an exception, I think. So Bomo will play more minutes at 0.62 XGI. Saka only on 0.7. So 0.7 is good, but I think Bomo could be decent. But I had Bruno, and I just kind of, I don't know. I think Saka's got a higher ceiling. I feel like Arsenal could be more explosive. Sarr is right up there. Sarr is really good. 0.82 XGI in the last 6 game weeks, apparently. I don't know if his numbers are skewed, how many minutes he's played in that time. Yeah. All very good players. Then Semenyo. You got Saka. Gakpo's up there. Enzo Fernandez is up there. 0.7 XGI in the last 6. That's really high. Yeah, he might be one to look at least until Palmer comes back. Yeah, Grealish. I don't think you go for a mad Szoboszlai and then all the rest. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking. I think that will do. That's all my thoughts for now. I haven't actually decided what I'm going to do. Maybe a defensive transfer. I think I might just roll because I can't think of what else to do. And I don't think any upgrade in defence is quite good enough. But then I don't know. Maybe I'll have a little punt. I just really need to think about how much I really need to save these transfers. I almost feel like I may as well just do one. But then I suppose if I did someone like Bueno, I'm booking in another transfer to sell him again. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to keep rolling 2 transfers, 3 transfers. Like, it might feel safe to have 2 transfers, but if you just have 2 or 3 transfers banked for the whole season, it's not really safety. It's just a waste. What are you saving them for? You've got to use them. So I only really want to save transfers if there's a period of uncertainty where I want to save them for. Otherwise, I want to really use them. So, yeah, I think I've got to go. That'll be enough talking for today. Okay, thanks for listening. See you later. Bye-bye.